You're watching Rurouni K95's anime review on A Win Named Amnesia. Hi, Ruronis. This is your pal Rurouni K95 here. Today's anime review. We get to cover an anime movie from the 90s for today's anime review is A Win Named Amnesia. A Win Named Amnesia is basically a Japanese novel authored by Hideyuki Kikuchi. Originally published in 1983 by Asahi Sonorama, an anime film adaptation was released theatrically on December 22nd, 1990, directed by Kazuo Yamazaki. An English adaptation of the film was produced and released by Manga Entertainment on home video in the Australia and the UK, and in the US, which is probably Central Park Media in North America as well. Yeah. So, without any further ado, which is right here, right now, let's review A Win Named Amnesia. Let's begin here. In the year 1999, the world has been reduced to an apocalyptic wasteland, which is almost like, particularly in a dystopian way, almost like any other ones at this point to expect what you see what is going on in A Win Named Amnesia. Due to an inflexible gust of wind that wiped even the most basic memories, such as speech and civility, from the minds of the world's populace, Wataru befriends a young man named Johnny who, prior to the incident, who was part of the government experiment. Yeah. Designing to expand the memory capacity of the human mind and therefore was able to retain his memories. Johnny helps Wataru regain his speech and teaches him other basic functions. However, as a result of the physical toll in his body endured due to the government experiments, as Johnny dies after encouraging Wataru to travel the world at this point, if you noticed. Yep. So, by this time, Wataru encounters a strange woman named Sophia who, after she helps him escape from the encounter with an unnamed police mech unit, and agrees to take Sophia to New York City. Together, the two travel to Los Angeles, where they help save Sue and her father, Little John, from a mob. Sue was to be offered as a bride to appease a god, which in reality is a construction mech controlled by a man, but fled to escape her fate. Yep. However, at this point, upon realizing that if she were not sacrificed, another woman would be in her stead, she flees from the group to rejoin her tribe, which is almost not in a good way at this point to see what is going on in A Win Named Amnesia at this part. Wataru destroys the construction mech, but Sue is killed in the conflict. Little John remains in Los Angeles to keep order of the tribe and rebuild society. Yep. So, above all this, Wataru and Sophia resume their travels to be attacked once more by police mech. Sophia rescues Wataru and brings him to an advanced city called Eternal Town for medical attention. When Wataru regains consciousness, he discovers that the city is run by a supercomputer that has brainwashed two of its original citizens into running day-to-day operations of the city. How you expect to see how this anime takes place in a dystopian and post-apocalyptic wasteland, that what you see in A Win Named Amnesia, and yet it was basically brainwashed by a supercomputer that brainwashes people in the civilization, in that you expect to see what is going on in the movie A Win Named Amnesia at this point. Yeah. What is it with post-apocalyptic wastelands in anime? But that is the question as well. Well, as you guessed it as well, the Into a running day-to-day operations of the city, the supercomputer attempts to persuade Sophia and Wataru into becoming citizens. But as the two escape with one of the original citizens in this dystopian post-apocalyptic wasteland as well, which are basically the survivors as well. Well, you guessed it, you expect to see what's going on in this anime. Lisa, as they depart from the city, Lisa begins to recall memories from her past, including the fact that the other citizen who was brainwashed from running the city with her father. Yeah. What is it with brainwashing the citizens that are in the anime movie, which is particularly a wind named Amnesia? Well, but that is the question, particularly for this anime movie as well. But yep, about which is almost a questionable reason not in a good way as well. As a result, Lisa decides to remain in Eternal Town. Sophia then explains that she is a member of an alien race that is responsible for the wind that erased Earth's citizens' memories, which is almost any memory has lost, particularly of how they cannot remember a memory, what they have. What you see in the anime movie, A Wind Named Amnesia, if you ever see this movie. Yeah. So, this anime movie, particularly how it all has got to for this particular thing on this anime as well. Sophie makes a wager with Wataru that if he is able to convince another person to join him in his travels, she will return humanity's memory, which you could have basically, they would have bring back their memory if it wasn't for the memories erased in Earth in this particular movie, which is A Wind Named Amnesia. If you ever see it, particularly, we expect seeing what is going on in this anime movie. By this time, Wataru and Sophie are chased across the country by the unrelenting police mech until they reach New York City. Upon arriving, Wataru drops Sophia off in order to defeat the police mech by himself. After destroying the police mech, Sophia saves Wataru as he falls from a building at this point. Yeah. So, and later on, the two kiss and have sex, particularly, which you guessed it, what you expect seeing in the anime movie when named Amnesia. But anyways, Sophia leaves in order to rejoin her race and convince them that humanity deserves to have their memories at this point, if you will. And that is my review on the anime movie, particularly A Wind Named Amnesia. And I didn't know that this movie was particularly... who is the supervisor for A Wind Named Amnesia is Rintaro, who is known for Metropolis, Galaxy Express 39, The Dagger of Kamui, Harmageddon, also known as Genma Tyson as well. And he also worked on, I believe, Adieu Galaxy Express 39, and he also worked on Labyrinthos Sequence, I believe it was Neo Tokyo as well. And he also worked on a bunch of anime, yeah, because I believe he worked on anime TV series, I believe, which is Astro Boy and Captain Harlock as well. And also, above all this, who is the supervisor? Besides Rintaro, you have who worked on the supervising on A Wind Named Amnesia is Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who is known for Wicked City, Ninja Scroll, and the Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Yep, because this anime movie is the pinnacle because this was directed by Kazuo Yamazaki, who is known for his work on anime on every certain one of them. And yet, this anime movie is on the original story by Hideyuki Kikuchi as well. And the script was done by Kazuo Yamazaki, particularly for this anime as well. Come to think of it, this anime movie has to the extent of primary examples of early 90s, late about particularly early 90s anime as well, because this anime movie has to extend to other primary 90s anime movies in general, particularly. I mean, not only director Kazuo Yamazaki has directed this movie particularly, because he only have worked on every certain anime titles, not only dreamed of what he was doing, creative work that'll stand the test of time, he has worked on certain anime titles in movies and anime TV shows in general as well. Two or less than the satisfactory results. And yet, particularly, yep. I noticed that this anime movie was directed by Kazuo Yamazaki, who directed Daitarn 3, and he also worked on half of the Urusei Yatsura anime TV series, especially from episodes 106 to 195 as well. And he also directed, I believe, The Slayers, the motion picture as well. Yeah, because this is particularly your primary example of 90s anime. And yeah, this features Noriko Hideyuki and Kappei Yamaguchi, which are, of course, the Japanese voice actors that I know for anime, such as Ranma Half, and also Noriko Hideyuki was also in other anime, I believe, such as Rurouni Kenshin. She was also in Kamen Rider Zero One, I believe, particularly. I mean, that is the primary example of 90s anime as well. Come to think of it, yeah, this is your typical anime movie that has led to having the pinnacle of what if you ever loved watching anime in the 90s. Yeah, this is your typical anime from 1990 as well. Which, especially to explain what it is, well, given in the title, particularly, if anybody has to explain what it is about a wind named Amnesia. And yet, this anime movie was released back in 1990, which is probably around the same time as Ranma Half TV series and the Dragon Ball Z series, which is probably what is going on as well. Yep. And speaking of which, this anime movie, A Wind Named Amnesia, was directed by Kazuo Yamazaki, who directed a couple of the Urusei Yatsura movies, I believe, which is Urusei Yatsura Movie 3, Remember My Love, and I believe Urusei Yatsura Movie 4, Lum the Forever, particularly, as well, because this is your typical anime movie, and I believe he's also known for other anime movies he directed, I believe, is Urusei TV series, like half of it, and also he worked on other anime, I believe, which is besides that, I believe he also directed Daitarn 3 and The Slayers, the motion picture as well, I believe. And yet, this your typical anime. I honestly think that A Wind Named Amnesia is your typical, to the extent, to 90s anime as well, which creative what not only anime directors and producers and writers have dreamed of what they were doing, that'll basically create one of the things about the creative works that'll basically stand the test of time. They have worked on every certain anime movie or TV series in the early 90s as well. Two or less than the satisfactory results. One of the hidden themes, especially for an anime movie like A Wind Named Amnesia. And I noticed that this anime is available on DVD and Blu-ray by Discotek Media, which I forgot to mention as well. So that's going to be it for my anime review on A Wind Named Amnesia for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on this anime review. When I first watched this on Crunchyroll, I really loved it, and I really adored that this is the primary of the early 90s anime movies as well. Because I thought that A Wind Named Amnesia is basically a TV show, but it's actually a movie as well. And this is the primary of early 90s anime, particularly, which is probably up until Sailor Moon arrived as well. If you haven't seen A Wind Named Amnesia, highly recommend you check it out. Hope subscribe for content. My anime planet link in the description down below. Share this video on Twitter, Facebook. If you have Twitter, Facebook account, and all social media, be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button. Feel free to leave in the comments in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel, RoniK95. Feel free to join the channel, especially new to my channel. Hit the notifications button. Keep it otaku for this anime review. We got another anime review coming up next. Stay tuned for my next anime review. I got another 70s anime that I haven't reviewed for tomorrow's anime review on Vanguard Ace. Stay tuned for my next anime review on Vanguard Ace, because you won't want to miss another anime review, because this is the first anime review of 2021.